Hi, I'm Robert Hookman Jr., and I'm here with Josh Porter, author of Designing for the Social Web, which is not yet released, but will be out soon. Welcome, Josh.
Thank you.
How are you enjoying South by Southwest?
Oh, it's great. It's overwhelming, but great.
Very, very cool. What are you up to at South by this year? You went on any panels?
Yeah, I was actually on a panel on Sunday called Social Design Strategies. Went really well. In fact, we had a few people who were saying, you know, we want to hear more. So we're having another thing tonight, impromptu, kind of get together. So it's been going really well. People, you know, people are talking a lot about social design, social media. So yeah, I mean, we're in the right place with the right people, definitely.
Excellent. That's actually my favorite topic at South by this year. I'm trying to go to all the social media related panels because I'm dealing with that with my company a lot now. So it's pretty interesting. So what is your favorite content? What's the stuff that you're looking for?
Well, you know, actually to the point of like social media, you know, there's a lot of social media people and they talk a lot about, you know, communicating with your customers and all this stuff. And while that's very important, and I in no way want to discourage people from doing that, like, you know, I love the Clue Train Manifesto book where it talks about how all markets are conversations and you need to talk to people. What I'm really focused on, and what I focused on in the book, is about how do you actually design interfaces that manifest all those strategies for talking with people. So, you know, most of the social media stuff that's called social media is very high level. But I try to be very low level, actually, very kind of practical where the rubber meets the road. Like this is how you would design a form to do this, or this is how you would create an interface element to do this. And so I think our panel provided good balance on that. So talking really practical issues and stuff.
That's excellent. So the book is more about the actual practical elements that go into a social web application.
Yes.
And how to design those things to sort of maximize the potential there, or?
Yeah. So I mean, certainly the message of talking to your community, letting your community talk to each other, help each other, you know, building tools that people can help recommend items to other people. They can vote on the quality of content, like on a site like Dig, for example. Certainly there's the high-level message, but the real meat of the book in my eyes, and the reason why I wrote it is, okay, let's look really close at the Dig interface, for example, and see how their design decisions actually change the behavior of people who use the site. So to give you an example, and this is one of the points that we made in the talk, and we actually had Daniel Barker from Dig in the panel, so it was great. We talked about how at one point Dig took down a feature from their site, which, you know, in the world of web applications and websites, the idea that you actually take away features doesn't happen very often. You know, it's all about feature creep and adding features. So, but it was about a year ago, and Dig had this. Dig is a voting site where the community submits stories, and then people rate or dig those stories, and as stories get dug more and more, they rise to the homepage. And so as Dig was going along in kind of the evolution of the website, they added a top diggers page, and those top diggers were the ones who submitted the most stories, and those stories were promoted but most of the homepage. But the real interesting part of the story is that after a while, that small community, those 20 or so top diggers, were actually causing harm to the service because they were controlling most of the content on the website. And the way the top diggers screen was designed, it was cumulative. So it took into consideration the actions of people over the whole time. So those top diggers had a very easy time staying at the top of the list, while the people down who were just starting using the service had a huge mountain to climb. So it was actually unequal for them. And so the people who it was unequal for felt like they were being treated a little unfairly. And it was all the result of the actual interface. It was the result that the top diggers, for one, the interface actually existed and showed that information of who was a top digger, and 2, that those top diggers figured out how to manipulate and how to communicate with each other really fast, so they each dug each other's stories. And so it's stories like that I'm trying to get out, trying to talk about, and the fact that they took away a feature is just a great part of it.
Right. It's such an interesting idea too, because I know on a lot of social networking sites, it's something like 1 to 2% of the audience for that site, for any given site, is producing like 98% of the content, or 90% of the content.
Right.
And it's like 8% produces the other 10%, and it's really, really small percentage of people that are actually contributing to the bulk of the material on user-generated content sites and things like that. So it's really interesting to think that features that were built for those sort of power users are actually being are inhibiting the other users, maybe making them feel like they've got this insurmountable mountain to climb, and that they can't play the dig game like they want to. And,
I've heard that described in terms of eBay. So eBay works the same way, that a large percentage of the items on eBay are submitted by a small percentage of people. So the eBay power users who go through like hundreds of thousands, or in some cases millions of dollars a year on the site. And so every time you make a change, you risk upsetting this amazing group of passionate people about the site. So it actually brings up a really interesting topic to me, and that's the idea of group usability. Okay, so in the history of software, most of the literature has been about an individual's ability to use websites, right? So in desktop applications in particular, or almost all of the early studies in early literature about a single person using a single piece of desktop software. And so how do you make that easier for that person to use? But we're seeing in cases like Dig and eBay that we now have to sometimes make sacrifices and say, what's good for the individual top diggers isn't necessarily best for the group. And so to me, group usability is this fascinating new realm of design that we really don't know much about yet.